Alright, so Christian nationalism. I'm going to explain it to you people. Now, the idea of Christian nationalism is this. There are only two countries in the entire history of the world that have ever been created out of the aspect of God. The idea that God put us here, that God gave us certain inalienable rights, certain causes for which that we should involve ourselves. Of these two nations, one is Israel, ancient Israel. I'm not going to get into the modern debate over Zionism and modern Israel and all that, but I do believe somewhere in our Constitution it was formed as a home for the Jewish people, in the idea that God gave it to Abraham. They're the descendants of Abraham. Now, I also point out that Abraham means father of nations, and that Abraham was not just the father of nations through the Arabs, through his son with his wife's maid or handmaiden or whatever I'm not sure the proper terminology, but also through Isaac. Now, bear in mind, the Jews were exiled from their country multiple times. They were taken into captivity into other nations during the time of the prophets for going against God and falling into idolatry and everything else. So, under this aspect, you have to keep in mind that the Jewish people were always returned to their land at some point, usually when they found God, or found their way to him again. And America, within the Bill of Rights, the Declaration of Independence, says that we are endowed by our Creator. And this seeks not the authority of the King of England, the authority of, what is that document I'm thinking of, that was written up in ancient times back in England. Somebody will mention it on here. But that a higher authority, their Creator, a reference towards God. And they weren't choosing a denomination, they weren't choosing a religion to stake this on. So, they were basing it on the idea that God gave us rights. Well, let me explain to you something. You cannot stop my rights. The government does not dictate my rights. The government recognizes my rights, but they don't grant them. They don't have the authority. God does. And if you don't believe in God, we'll go something a little bit more earthly. Nature. Nature gave me a mind. Nature gave me a brain. Nature gave me hands. Now, I can use my brain, I can use my mind, I can use my intellect to conceive of a great many things. And of those great many things, I have a mouth to speak. God blessed me with vocal cords. Nature blessed me with vocal cords, if you will. And well, that mind, that intellect. Now, the thing about this is, I have hands that I can craft anything with. So let me give you an idea. To say that I lost my Second Amendment rights is a joke, because my right to self-defense was never taken away from me. Think about it. I have hands and a mind. Anyone who can chemically propel a small metallic object down a long cylindrical tube has the knowledge to build a firearm, has the knowledge to make a weapon, has the knowledge to mix chemicals to produce a result. None of this is magic. None of this can be regulated by the government. So in all that blessing, what stops me from doing so? God, morality. Think about that. God said to respect those that he has appointed before us or above us, that our rulers, even in their many human flaws, are put there because God placed them there. And respect for my government, even when it's failed, fucked up, corrupt, is a matter of my Christian ideology. Think about that. So, to call me a Christian nationalist is the idea that I believe in putting my country first. I believe in putting my countrymen first. I believe that I should have, not that I should have, that me and my countrymen have rights endowed to us by our Creator. And those rights cannot be regulated, infringed, impinged upon by the government without the use of force. In which case, the government recognizes my right to self-defense. And because my government recognizes my right to self-defense, and as an inalienable right passed down to me by my Creator, according to the Declaration of Independence, it cannot be separated from me. It cannot be alienated. So, as a Christian nationalist, what does that mean? Well, that means that I believe America should come first. Does that mean I think we should have an own borders policy? No. Borders are there for a reason, to protect us. Just like the walls of your house are. They're there to protect you. And so our borders should be defended. Our borders should be the walls of our nation to protect us from threats from the outside, which is the duty of the government. And, well, if they cannot, we have an inalienable right to self-defense, recognized by our government, provided to us by God through the form of nature, because he gave us mind and hands, the ability to think and choose actions for ourselves. What do you think about that? Should America help other countries? I think so. Should America help other people? I think so. But it should be through a regulated, lawful means. And when the government ignores those laws, well, it ceases really to become government and just abuses of authority that undermine that authority. As, categorized by our structure of government, which is a republic, not a democracy. So I want to explain some Christian nationalism to you and give you an idea of what it is and why it's not a threat to you, to anyone. I believe that Christianity mentions, things like charity and helping others and things like that, and it should be a standard for us that we should respect our country, should respect our government, even when it is flawed and human and corrupt, and acknowledge that all governments are corrupt at some level because they are managed by humans, and we are flawed, and that we need God. And as a Christian nationalist, I believe that we should espouse the ideas of Christianity to make our country a better place. And that making it a better place, we should extend that betterment beyond our borders. But I also believe that our country should put us first. Should put its citizens first. Christian nationalism sound that bad? You know, certainly not racism. It's certainly not against any other religion, because, you know, your relationship with God is between you and God, just like my relationship with God is between me and God. And I'm going to be the first one to tell you, I'm not a very good Christian. I'm not the Christian whose life pattern you should be following. But I'm also the Christian that will tell you that you don't have to be perfect to find God. That you become closer to perfect in looking for Him.